You a bitch, nigga.
You a bitch, nigga. Stop.
You throwing the fit right now, little nigga?
Tear up, you asshole.
Fuck you. Fuck you.
Put that bitch ass nigga off.
You ain't talking that shit now, nigga. Fuck you too.
Say bitch. Some say suck my dick.
That's why you can't fight, pussy.
Say you a bitch.
Bitch.
Say you bitch.
So where's you from, blood?
Say nigga, I'm from Dushnine, nigga.
What hood you from?
Something's different.
16. He said he from 16.
Say nigga my name 3 times, nigga. Fuck you, nigga. You a hoe, nigga. What's up then? Post for the camera, dude. Say I'm thugging it with my diaper on, nigga. Say I'm thugging with my diaper on. Too long of a sentence.
Put that chair up, buddy.
Say I need some pussy today. I throwing the fit right now.
You can't finish that beer.
Say fuck you.
They gon' give a hoe.
And thuggery. That's how the Police Association in Omaha, Nebraska describes a disturbing video it posted on its website. The video shows a boy in diapers being told to repeat profanities and sexual comments by the adults who were taping him. The union says it posted the video to educate the public about the culture they are dealing with in Omaha. But critics say posting the video goes too far. We have blurred the toddler's identity and censored the bad language, but I want to warn our viewers, the video is still disturbing. CNN's Casey Wyan out front with this story.
The video shows a young child, perhaps 2 or 3 years old, in a disturbing, profane war of words with at least 3 adults. They seem irritated over a fallen chair.
You a bitch.
You a bitch. Stop.
You throwing the fit right now, little
Tear up, you. Put that bitch off.
You ain't talking that now.
The child then flips his middle finger at the camera.
You too.
The toddler, whose face was shown in the original video but CNN has obscured, exchanges at least 35 swear words with the adults in the 1-minute, 23-second video.
Say bitch. Some say
That's why you can't fight.
say you a bitch.
Bitch.
They discuss sexual matters, even apparent gang affiliations.
So where's you from?
I'm from Dushnine.
What hood you from?
Something's different.
16. He said he from 16.
Say the name 3 times. You a hoe. What's up then?
The video was posted on the website of the Omaha, Nebraska Police Officers Association, which says we have an obligation to share it to continue to educate the law-abiding public about the terrible cycle of violence and thuggery that some young innocent children find themselves helplessly trapped in.
When you see a child being treated like this, who can't really defend themselves, an innocent child, unfortunately, though, it's something that as police officers we see that is all too common.
Commenters on the police union's website objected to what some saw as racial overtones in posting the video.
This behavior is going to potentially lead this child down a path that is completely unhealthy. It has nothing to do with race or ethnicity.
Omaha's chief of police released a statement saying the department has no control over the content of the police union's website, and the chief strongly disagrees with any postings that may cause a divide in our community. Casey Wyan, CNN, Los Angeles.
Joining me now, CNN political commentator Mark Lamont Hill and talk radio host Mel Robbins. She's also a former public defender. I can barely watch that. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Oh, it's tough to watch. I mean, again, no law was probably broken in that video, but it almost feels like child abuse.
Yeah, it does, but that's what I wanted to ask. Listen, they said that this is an example of the thug cycle in Omaha that kids are trapped in. What do you say?
First of all, that's clearly an awful thing that just happened there. It's irresponsible, it's bad parenting, it's bad uncling, whatever you want to call it, from whoever was on that video. I'm not sure that I like the way it's framed, and I don't necessarily want to see that video. on the internet because I think it sends the wrong message about young black boys. I think it criminalizes that toddler. That I don't like. Again, we all agree that's an awful thing that happened,
Right.
but I'm not sure that posting it is the right thing to do.
They could have blurred the kid's identity so that you
Exactly.
couldn't have. But listen, and you don't like that they called it thug culture?
No.
Well, the guy in the video, Mark, though, he says, I'm thugging him. I want you to say I'm thugging in my diaper.
No.
Why
I
shouldn't
get
the
that.
police call it?
Well, because I think the way it's framed, again, when they say thug culture and the culture of violence, there's a racial overtone to that. It sort of prepares the public to imagine this young boy, again, someone who isn't even old enough for elementary. As soon as I finish the thought, someone who isn't even ready for elementary school yet, to frame him as a thug, I think is very dangerous and is just as irresponsible as the people in the video. Again, not defending their behavior in the video, but the way they're responding to it, not okay.
Go ahead, Mel.
Well, I'm glad, hi Mark, hi Don, I'm glad first of all that we all agree that this is absolutely deplorable. I think the point that the police are trying to make is that unfortunately this is something that they see a fair amount of. Now, here's the thing that I think that everybody's missing that's important about this story. It's not the police that originally posted this. The relatives of this kid took the video.
And
then the relative who calls this kid his nephew posted it because he thought it was great.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't until the police then repost something that was already out in the public that everybody gets up in arms. I want to remind everybody, this kid was called the N-word more than 10 times in 84 seconds. Mm-hmm. That is abuse. Mm-hmm. I wish they could find a law to arrest these people. And to me, when I hear the word thug, particularly as a former criminal defense attorney, the word thug means a violent ruffian or an assassin, and those come in all shapes and sizes. They come in Latino gangs, they come in Irish gangs, they come in Italian gangs, and what the police are dealing with here is not a color problem, it is a violence problem.
It's also a culture of violence, and I don't mean a culture, Mark and Mel, not just among African Americans. This happens among many races, but this particular case, it happens to be black, and they are glorifying thug culture in this video, saying, "Thug in your diaper, do this."
It's disgusting.
Right.
Yeah, it's disgusting. And again, when the kid posted, when the uncle posted it, I found that disturbing too. I didn't just find it disturbing when the police did it, but it takes on a whole new life when the police do it, when the state does it.
Okay, stand by. Let's look a little bit more at this video.
Bitch. You throwing the fit right now, little
Put that bitch off.
You ain't talking that now. You too.
Say bitch. Stop say
That's why you can't fight.
Say you a bitch.
Okay, so Mel, I checked with clinical psychologist Jeff Gardier about this case, and here's what he says. He says the child's mind is being destroyed by adults in this video, and they have exploited him by posting it online. They're saying both sides are at fault here, but again, you do point out that the relatives posted it first. I wondered if this was some sort of mental abuse for this child, or a psychological abuse, even though police didn't think that anything criminal was happening here. As a former prosecutor, what do you make of it?
Well, you know, Don, here's the thing. Garbage in, garbage out. And I agree 100% with Jeff. The truth is that everybody watching at home who's sick to their stomach right now and who feels for this poor child that's growing up in an environment where the adults around them are acting in a way that's abusive, you know, the thing that I say to myself is that we have an obligation, I believe, as a society to put politics and political correctness aside and do the right thing on behalf of kids.
But I don't think it's the right thing, Mel. My concern is putting the image in the face of a across the world on the screen.
You know what? The uncle already did it.
Isn't that what we do?
But why are we defending it? We've already agreed that the uncle was irresponsible and abusive. Why would we expect the police to mimic the same behavior?
I think maybe we should focus this in a different way.
What would be great is that maybe somebody will help with the kid.
Right, exactly. I think we should focus this in a different way, because that's what we do as journalists, and I think that's what the police are trying to do. If the video is out there, is to bring light to something that is happening. If you could help this one little boy, just this one little boy, what is wrong with putting a video up that's already been out there? And shouldn't we be focusing on that culture, that for any race.
But here's the problem. It overstates the problem, first of all. Yes, there's a violence problem in Omaha. Yes, there's a violence problem around the country.
You think it overstates? You don't think that happens? Similar things like that happen in many homes?
I don't think that this is the norm. I don't think the average family...
No, not the average family, but you don't think that happens in...
Even the average person surrounded by violence, they're not walking around with kids calling them thugs and using the N-word.
What is the downside of this video being out in the public and having people concerned about this child and having people wake up to the fact that when you speak to a child in such an abusive manner, it is going to have a negative impact?
Do you think that this is a common occurrence, even in places where there's high levels of violence? You think that...
Yes.
I do.
And that
I do. I hear people talking to their children. I hear people talking to their children like that all the time.
Really?
Yes.
You see people walking around the kids in diapers saying, what?
Yes,
I hear people talking to their kids like that all the time, calling them little N-words. I hear this. I walk the streets of New York City. I hear it all the time.
I find that hard to believe. Yes, people use foul language. Yes, people use the N-word. But what we saw in that video is a whole other level, and that's not normal. And the problem is we live in a world where little black boys are already seen as violent.
Little black boys.
No, it is about little black
boys.
It's not about the little boys.
But that boy had a race.
It's about what those adults are doing to the kid, Mark.
He happens to be the example. This happens in all parts of society.
The example's always black, Don.
The example's not always black. What are you trying to say? That this kid isn't black?
There's another video that's gone viral of a white kid.
I'm saying the kid is black, and this is dangerous to call a toddler a thug in training, which is essentially what they've done. That's what I'm saying the problem is. Yes, what happened on the video is a problem. We all agree on that, but that doesn't mean...
The family called him a thug in training. They're saying, I'm thugging in my diaper.
Yes,
that's what the family is saying.
And the police say the thug cycle continues.
The police are calling him exactly what the family is calling him and asking him to do.
The boy is this big. How can you say that he's going to be a thug? He's this big.
We're not saying he's going to be a thug. The family is saying that.
Okay, they say it's a cycle. That means it's going to happen again.
Crying out loud.
I'm using common sense, and I'm not being condescending as you are. Go ahead.
What's going to happen to this kid 2 years from now when you roll him into kindergarten and all he's been is around adults that are dropping the N-word, teaching him to flip off, talking about sexual actions with him? So now all of a sudden the kindergarten teacher is going to have to figure out how to socialize him in a way that's respectable. That's not fair. It's not fair to this kid.
You're disputing an argument that I'm not making. I'm not saying this kid is in a good situation. We all agree that he's not. But one, this is not the norm.
So what's wrong with putting the video out there? What's wrong with it?
One, because
Why? What's wrong?
You don't see anything irresponsible about putting the face of a toddler on the internet and calling him the end of a cycle of thuggery? Come on. That's irresponsible. It's dangerous.
I don't.
And even the police department doesn't stand behind it.
It's irresponsible for the family. First of all, for the actions to have happened, for the family to have done it, for the family to have put the kid in that position.
Agreed.
That's irresponsible. If the family had not put it out there, then it may be different. I may feel differently about the police putting it out there. Now, I do feel that once the police put it out there again, they could have covered the kid's face. They did not have to identify and show the child there. But still, I don't see anything wrong with this. I think this video and other videos like it, regardless of the kid's race, that should be brought to light. That's what we do. We're be helping kids as adults, not teaching them to go into a cycle of whatever you want to call it.
Helping this kid is a good idea, and from what we understand, they've contacted Child Protective Services to see if this child in particular can be helped. I think that's awesome. But to put, in this case, essentially an anonymous kid out there, it's not like the public is going to go and save this kid. Instead, they're going to see him and other small black boys like thugs. That's what I'm worried about. I don't see any redemptive value in putting a video like this out here. I just don't.
Try this on. So for folks that may not have any experience or may not have overheard people, in their neighborhood or on the street or at the mall or whatever talking to kids like this, I think it's a very powerful and eye-opening example of just how profound of an impact the adults that are raising a kid can have. And I think that that's a very positive thing. In fact, it does the opposite, Mark, in some regard, that maybe instead of looking at young black men as thugs, maybe some people will say, whether it's a thug that's of one color or of a different color or this color, maybe they'll say, shoot, maybe.
And I want to reiterate, this just happens to be one of a little black kid. But you've not seen white families or Hispanic families or talking to kids like that? Get your you-know-what out of here. Didn't I tell you to shut your damn mouth, you little a-hole?
That's a little different than what we see here, where kids being prepared for gang life.
It's the same sort of behavior. It's the same sort of behavior. And that's all I'm saying. It doesn't matter with the color of the kid or the race of the kid.
I don't want to see a white kid up there either under that.
All right.
I don't see anybody like that.
Thanks to both of you. We'll be right back.